is blue, followed by the grid line, which is red, another filament line, which is white, not connected, orange line, which is positive 12 volts DC to the fan, and then green and brown lines, which are the interlock when the switch closes. That interlock closes and is one of the interlocks that enables the X-ray control board. And there are a lot of interlock systems in this unit for safety. Right now, let's have a look at gamma high voltage. So these are all the voltage set, power, current monitor, etc. This pin connector goes on this side of the board. I haven't looked at the pinouts on it yet. There's a fan connector down here, and then a power input connector up here. On the top of the board, you'll see a number of test points. There are filament B and filament A test points here, which are just connected across the filament pins there. Grid common, grid voltage. Grid voltage is just connected across the pin here. Potentiometers for grid adjust. Milliamp feedback minus and plus. Several adjustment potentiometers for, looks like, current standby, current limit, milliamp adjust, kilovolt adjust, and then is two positive negative kilovolt feedback lines. The input power for the control board comes from one of the headers. Where did that go? Ah, it's under the ladder. Okay. So this is the power connector for the filament control board. It comes in up here. So starting from this side, it's positive 24 volt, not connected. A red wire for an interlock, positive 12 volts, not connected. A yellow wire for an interlock, and then two ground wires. So let's have a look at what all those interlocks on the door assembly do. So this door assembly has a rotating platter, and in the top there are two micro switches. So this is a dually redundant interlock system, which and these micro switches are put in series. When the door closes, rotates to the closed position, the two micro switches connect the blue and brown wires coming out of the platter. The blue wire is further put into series with two additional micro switches. One micro switch is the interlock for the bottom cover of the unit. One interlock switch is for the back cover of the unit. All four interlocks have to be closed for the CPU board to receive the door closed line. It also has an additional interlock for the X-ray generator control board. The metal tabs that actually push on the limit switches, there's actually a copper peg in one side of the door platter and a copper peg on the other. And when the door rotates closed, those copper pegs touch the two copper bars which press into the limit switches. However, though there are two additional interlock lines, a black and red line coming out of the unit, and when those two copper pegs touch those copper bars, that interlock closes. The red line coming out of that interlock system is also put into series with the front panel key switch. So the key switch has to be rotated in the on position as well, and it's checking that as an interlock as well. That interlock line then goes to the red line on the X-ray filament control board. The yellow line from the X-ray filament control board then goes into the back of this unit. So starting from this side, there's a yellow line and a black line. There is a relay on this control board which forms an additional interlock that when the CPU board wants to activate the X-ray generator, it closes the relay, which closes the yellow and black lines on this header. So there's yellow and black, then a black line. Those are closed by that interlock. So that's the relay output, and then there's a brown line and a blue line, which is interlock inputs from the door and back panel switches. So let's have a look at how all of those work. To fire up the CPU board, we'll only need positive 5 volts. So what I've done is I've put just a coaxial DC plug on the header, which used to go to the Hamamatsu sensor, and I'm plugging that into a DC to DC buck converter into a 12-volt battery pack. So turning that on and plugging in the power header, turns on the CPU board. The power OK light has come on, and I can adjust the voltage. So let's take the activation key and put that in here for a later test. We can see that if you rotate the door cassette, the door platter to closed, and you take the 2 switches and you hit them, the door interlock light will come on. So testing that in the back of the unit with a multimeter on the blue and brown lines here. Once the door is closed and the 2 interlock switches are closed, those lines are connected. Once those lines are connected, it will respond to a serial command or a press the start button to try to close the relay after the warm-up countdown is complete, and that takes, I think, around either 70 or 90 seconds. Around 6 seconds left, and then it'll beep telling you, alright, and it's ready to go. So you press the start button, your click, and that is this relay in the back closing to give an additional interlock enable. At the same time, it's going to send out the send out a serial character. I believe it is R for ready, and then you'll send back, it's either R, I think R for ready, and then you will send back the ASCII character C to confirm, and then it'll activate the X-ray control board. Alright, so if those door interlocks are not satisfied, that relay will not close. So looking at the second interlock system, there is the interlock on the red and yellow lines to the top of the X-ray control board. So we'll put this red and black. So to close, so for the X-ray board to enable the X-ray generator, those 2 copper pegs must be touching. That only happens when the door platter is rotated into the closed position. The door is closed. Then these 2 micro switches and these 2 micro switches will give the door closed and all the panels closed OK signal to the CPU board, and it will also has the key switch in series, and when that is all closed and you press the start button, then the OK line to the X-ray generator is enabled, and the yellow and red lines are shorted together. But the X-ray generator still will not come on unless the software interlock is satisfied over the serial interface. So that is an overview of all the various interlock systems on the Faxitron X-ray unit. All right.